The Owl House has consistently demonstrated how Luz and Amity are becoming increasingly close. Right now, Amity is in love with Luz despite despising Luz earlier, but nothing can come to pass in terms of this relationship because of Luz's obliviousness. There is no reason to believe at this point that Luz wouldn't love her, only that she's never thought of it because she is blind to Amity's feelings. Even when Amity hated her, Luz wanted to become close with Amity. She wanted to be friends. She wanted to have that closeness. The problem is that Luz never anticipated that her actions would have a profound effect on Amity. She never imagined that she could make Amity fall in love. It also does not help that Luz does not know how to respond to real romances and real love as opposed to that which exists in fiction. Luz is a total fangirl, and as I talked about in one of my previous videos, she is 100% the kind of person who would be watching a video like this were she in our world. She would totally be invested in the romantic lives of her favorite characters, but she does not know how to respond in the real world to even very obvious social cues that Amity likes her romantically. Some believe Luz will remain oblivious throughout the series, but I'm not that pessimistic. Despite how Luz is portrayed in some fan arts, she is not an idiot. Dana Terrace has made that clear. She's not like this typical anime protagonist who's basically an idiot savant, completely stupid about everything except the one thing they're good at. Luz is good at a lot of things, but she's young and naive. And she's a little foolish and a little awkward now, but eventually she will catch on. A relationship between these two will start at some point. I'm sure of that. But what will Amity's parents think of that relationship? They're the ones who did the most to shape Amity into the jittery, faux confident, secretly very anxious person that she is at the start of the Owl House. Gradually, she appears to be freeing herself from their influence, but they are still her parents, and they're still powerful people in their own right. Her mother, Mrs. Blight, dyes Amity's hair green just because she likes her children to be, to quote Dana Terrace, color coordinated. That's really creepy, and I do not think it will be easy for Amity to fight her way out of that kind of influence. Mrs. Blight is not a person who will just sit by and accept the choices her daughter makes without fighting against some of those choices. Think even back to the situation with Willow that was revealed in the episode Understanding Willow. Because Willow and her parents did not fit the Blight standards of power and wealth and success, the Blights did not allow Amity to stay friends with Willow. They made her tell Willow that they couldn't be friends anymore. And that was when Amity was a kid, and that was over something relatively unimportant. What will Amity's parents do about their daughter being in a relationship with a human? Will they attempt to break Lumity apart? Possibly, probably even. Will they succeed? I don't know. These are the questions we need to consider. Strength for the Blights is primarily associated with magical prowess. Willow was not quite as talented with magic as were the other kids. This was not the only reason Amity's parents made Amity stop being friends with Willow, but it certainly was a significant reason. And humans are not supposed to be able to use magic. Luz has to improvise. She has to rely on her own cunning and creativity. She's quickly becoming a skilled witch, but she took an unconventional route to that point, and I really do not think Amity's parents would approve of that. What's more, Amity's parents are some of the most powerful and influential people in the Boiling Isles. They prize decorum, they prize only speaking at the proper moment, they prize elegance and their definition of dignity. Luz, bless her heart, is the complete opposite of that. She's passionate, she's energetic, she's spontaneous. If Amity's parents represent the orderly, structured, Apollonian side of human nature, Luz represents the complete opposite. She represents the wild, chaotic, artistic, Dionysian, norm-breaking side of humanity. She's defined by her actions and by her impulses, and her mentor, Ida, is not restrained either. Someone, I don't remember who, very astutely pointed out that she is 100% the female version of Stan Pines from Gravity Falls. Not only because she has a sibling who is very different from her, but more than that because she's willing to break a few laws, and although her heart is always in the right place, she's willing to step on a few toes if it means doing what she really cares about. Amity's parents are completely averse to all of this. If they had their way, their daughter would not be associating with Luz. Compared to Luz, Willow, whom they strongly objected to, is relatively inoffensive. Willow represents only a minor at best threat to the status quo, unlike Luz, who disrupts the status quo without even trying to. It's just who she is. She may not be quite as wild as she was at the start of the show, but she is still driven by her feelings and her passions, and not just decorum. As an artist, she's off in her own little world. She's creating. She's imagining other scenarios and other worlds. She doesn't care much about what she is expected to do. Instead, she's driven by her heart. If she wants to do something, she does it. If she believes something is unfair or immoral, she objects to it, no matter what. This person is a terrible danger to the rigid hierarchies Amity's parents would like to preserve. We don't know to what extent Amity's parents know about Amity's relationship with Luz, but to the extent that they do know Luz, they most likely regard her as a corrupting influence on Amity. I doubt they have failed to notice Amity's growth, though they would probably not call it growth. We've noticed, and so has Luz. I don't know why her parents wouldn't notice as well. We don't know to what extent her parents still have power over her, but considering she's still 14, it's probably significant, and they will probably use what power they have to try and push her away from Luz. They would want more than anything for Amity to return to the person they tried to mold her into being, even though Amity does not want to be that person anymore. Now, I've mentioned Amity's mother a little more than her father in this video, because I do believe that it is Amity's mother that she is going to be most opposed by. Although neither of her parents seem to want her to be independent, her mother is the one who's doing the most direct control. Dana Terrace has said that Amity's father is not the straightforward, over-the-top villain he initially appears to be. And while I don't know how they will complicate his character, it is true that he is not the one who forced her to dye her hair green. So if Amity's mother thinks Luz is just a friend, she'll be angry enough, but if she discovers the romantic component of their connection, she will become irate enough that her blood will start to boil. I can just picture right now her calm, eerie, composed facade breaking slowly when she discovers the truth about Amity and Luz. What if she tries to stop Amity from seeing Luz, forcibly tries to stop her? How would Amity respond? Now, I do not think we really need to step back and consider how Luz would respond. We already know. She would follow her heart. She would see this injustice done against her and against Amity, and she would try to correct it with all the passion and drive and determination she has. And it would not really occur to her to act otherwise. This would just be common sense to her. This is a situation where Luz's inability to overthink situations actually benefits her. An injustice has been committed and she will try to right it. The more interesting question is how Amity will respond to this. We haven't seen her confront her parents yet, but we know enough to know that it would be a deeply uncomfortable situation. We've seen her go against members of her friend group before, but this is of a vastly different scale. This is not only acting against her controlling parents, but forfeiting the privilege she enjoys as the daughter of two wealthy, powerful, and well-connected people. Will she be able to do that for the sake of Luz, and for the sake of the bond between them? For both their sakes, I certainly hope so. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Owl House. It's a very fun and very charming little show. It's getting a lot better as it progresses, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. But what do y'all think? Will Amity be able to escape her parents' influence? Write your comments below. Thank you all again. Tune in soon for my next analysis. I swear it will be coming soon. You don't need to worry about that. Adios, comrades.